Okay. Right. Good afternoon, students. In yesterday class, we discussed regarding spectrum, and there are two types of spectrums depending on emission and absorption of radiation, known as emission spectrum and absorption spectrum. So, emission spectrum is obtained due to emission of radiation, whereas absorption spectrum is obtained due to the absorption of radiation. Emission spectrum consists of bright lines on dark background, whereas absorption spectrum consists of dark lines on bright background. Emission spectrum is obtained when electron jumps from lower orbits to higher orbits, whereas emission spectrum is obtained when electron jumps from higher orbits to lower orbits, whereas the absorption spectrum is obtained when electron jumps from lower orbit to higher orbit. So this is regarding emission spectrum and absorption spectrum what we discussed. And one more classification is there. There is a line spectrum and a band spectrum. See, depending on the nature of the particles present in the matter, we may get here two different types of spectrums. There is a line spectrum and band spectrum. So what is a line spectrum and what is band spectrum? Let us see the difference. See, like this. This is a line spectrum. Means here we got some sharp distinct lines. The spectrum which consists of sharp distinct lines is nothing but called as a line spectrum. Then what is a band spectrum? See, if you take a VGR, this is a band spectrum. So this VGR consists of bands of different colors without any gap between them. Means one color band overlap with the side by color band. Or take one more same like this. So this band spectrum consists of a group of very closely spaced lines, almost negligible gap, which is not visible to our eyes, called as a band. And one more band here like this, very group of closely spaced lines. This is another band like this. The spectrum which consists of group of closely spaced lines or bands is called as a band spectrum. So here it consists of sharp distinct lines known as line spectrum. This consists of bands of different colors with or without any gap between them. Those are called band spectrums. Okay, right. Then see, line spectrum. This line spectrum is also called as atomic spectrum. Line spectrum is also called as atomic spectrum. Why line spectrum is called as atomic spectrum? See, line spectrum is the characteristic of atoms. So line spectrum is the characteristic of atoms. It is obtained due to atoms. That's why this is called as atomic spectrum. Whereas band spectrum is also called known as a molecular spectrum. Band spectrum is also called as molecular spectrum. Why it is called as molecular spectrum means molecular spectrum or band spectrum is the characteristic of molecules. Due to molecules in the substance, we got this spectrum. That's why that is called as a molecular spectrum. Then, when does line spectrum is obtained? When does band spectrum will be obtained? See, a line spectrum is obtained due to excitation and de-excitation of electrons. See, again here, line spectrum is of two types. Emission line spectrum, absorption line spectrum, two are possible. So this is the classification based on the nature of radiation. This is the classification based on the nature of the particles in the matter. So line spectrum is obtained due to atoms. It is a characteristic of atoms. That's why it is called as atomic spectrum. And line spectrum is obtained due to excitation and de-excitation of electrons in an atom. Then what about band spectrum? So band spectrum will be obtained due to the vibrations of atoms in a molecule. Due to the vibrations of atoms in a molecule, we will get band spectrum. Okay, so this is the basic difference between line spectrum and band spectrum. See once again, just three differences. The first difference is line spectrum consists of sharp distinct lines. Band spectrum consists of bands of different colors or groups of closely spaced lines called bands. This is the first difference. Second one, line spectrum is the characteristic of atoms. That's why it is called as atomic spectrum. Whereas band spectrum is the characteristic of molecules. That's why it is called as molecular spectrum. This is the second difference. And third one, how these spectrums are obtained. See, line spectrum is obtained by the excitation and de-excitation of electrons in an atom. Due to excitation and de-excitation of electrons in an atom, we will get this line spectrum. Whereas band spectrum will be obtained due to the vibrations of atoms in a molecule. Due to the vibration of atoms in a molecule, we will get a band spectrum. So this is regarding line spectrum and band spectrum. Okay, right. So overall, spectrum is nothing but the arrangement obtained due to the dispersion of light when passed through the prismatic system. That is called spectrum. Okay, and what about the first spectrum which was studied? The first spectrum which was studied by the scientist Balmer. The scientist Balmer has studied the emission spectrum of hydrogen in the visible region. Let us see, we'll discuss that. Right. See, emission spectrum of hydrogen. This emission spectrum of hydrogen was first studied by the scientist Balmer in a visible region. Let us see what that Balmer series is. And how this emission spectrum of hydrogen is obtained. See here, hydrogen gas by taking in a discharge tube. This is a discharge tube. So this is connected here. So hydrogen gas is taken in discharge tube, and then on applying electric field at low pressure, then it emits light. Okay, the emitted light when passed through a prism, then it undergo dispersion here. Then what the arrangement obtained here, this is called line spectrum of hydrogen. Right. Okay, see once again. When hydrogen gas is taken in a discharge tube at a low pressure and on applying electric field, it emits light. So when that emitted light is analyzed by passing through a prism, the arrangement obtained is known as emission spectrum of hydrogen, and that was first studied by the scientist Balmer. So here the letter L is silent in pronunciation. It is pronounced as Balmer. Okay, the scientist Balmer has studied the emission spectrum of hydrogen in visible region. Yeah, what is the appearance of that emission spectrum of hydrogen? Like this, it consists of some sharp distinct lines. Like this. The distance between the lines decreases gradually here. Okay. Now, here, the first line of this Balmer series is named as a H alpha line. The first line in the Balmer series is known as H alpha line. Second line is known as H beta line. Third line H gamma line, and so on. The last line is H infinitive. Okay, the first line is named as H alpha, second one H beta, third one H gamma, and so on. The last line is known as H infinitive. See, what about the wavelengths of these lines? I'll write here. This is first line. This is in terms of nanometers, what I'm writing here, 653.6 nanometers. Second line, 486 nanometers. 434 nanometers. Next one, 410.1 nanometers, and so on. That means the wavelength of these spectral lines decreases. That means frequency increases. So this is the emission spectrum of hydrogen diagram for the hydrogen, which was studied by Balmer. Okay, all right. Now, so first line is H alpha line, which is obtained at 656.3 nanometers. Second line H beta, obtained at a wavelength of 486 nanometers. Third line H gamma, which is obtained at 434 nanometers, and so on. The last line, which is called as a limiting line. This is a limiting line. See, the last line of this series. The last line of this series is nothing but called as a limiting line, means ending line, last line. That is named as a H infinitive line. Okay. Right. Then like this, spectral lines was observed by Balmer in visible region. Then, how these spectral lines are obtained? See, if you take a hydrogen atom contains only one electron. But how we can get these number of spectral lines? How it is possible? Even though hydrogen contains only one atom, we got a different number of spectral lines in different regions. What is the reason? So that was not clearly explained by the scientist. Later that was explained by the scientist Niels Bohr. There, while discussing Niels Bohr's theory, I will explain why we get a different number of lines here. Okay, right. And to calculate the wavelength and wave numbers of these spectral lines, the scientist Rydberg proposed an equation, which is nothing but nu bar is equal to 1 by lambda is equal to r into 1 by 2 square minus 1 by n square. This is the equation. So to calculate the wavelength and wave numbers of these spectral lines, Balmer proposed an equation, which is nothing but nu bar is equal to 1 by lambda, which is equal to r into 1 by 2 square minus 1 by n square. So where R is equal to, so here R is known as a Rydberg constant. Where R is known as a Rydberg constant and its value is 109677 per centimeters. Otherwise, 10967700 per meters. This is the value of R in per centimeters and per meters. Okay. This is about emission spectrum of hydrogen, which was studied by Balmer. See once again. When hydrogen gas is heated or subjected to electric, anyone, either heating or subjecting to electric discharge at a low pressure, then it emits light. When the emitted light is analyzed, we can obtain an arrangement. When emitted light is analyzed by passing through a prism, the arrangement obtained is nothing but known as line spectrum of hydrogen or emission spectrum of hydrogen. So this is the appearance of that emission spectrum of hydrogen in visible region. This is now the spectrum what we are discussing here. This is in visible region. That means that these lines are clearly visible to our eyes, spectral lines in different colors. Okay, yesterday I show you one diagram in regarding emission and absorption spectrum with the different colors. Some lines are there like this. This appearance of these lines. This is in visible region. Okay, to calculate wavelength and wave numbers of these spectral lines, Rydberg proposed an equation. This is that equation where R is nothing but a constant, Rydberg constant. Okay, right. Then what is N here? N is nothing but a higher orbit number. Here 2 is lower orbit number. Okay, that means when electrons jumps from any higher orbit to second orbit, then we can get this Balmer series. Let us see here, when does H alpha line is obtained? When electron jumps from a third orbit to second orbit, means the first line, third orbit to second orbit, when electron jumps, we can get this line, and so on, 4 to 2. This is a fifth orbit to second orbit, and so on, infinite orbit to second orbit. So like this, these spectral lines are obtained. So whenever electrons jumps from higher orbit to lower orbit, that is second orbit, then we can obtain a Balmer series in visible region. Okay, H alpha line means first line 3 to 2, second line H beta fourth orbit to second orbit, H gamma fifth orbit to second orbit, and so on. The last line infinite orbit to second orbit. Like this, Balmer has explained the formation of spectral lines in a visible region. Okay. After Balmer has discovered emission spectrum of hydrogen in visible region, later the scientist Lyman. So before visible region, which region will be there? This is ultraviolet region. Here the scientist Lyman discovered another series. This is nothing but Balmer series. This is Balmer series. After that, the scientist Lyman has discovered one series like this in ultraviolet region, which is named as Lyman series. After that, the scientist Fasten, Brackett, and Pund discovered another 3 series. Fasten series. Fasten discovered another series. After that, Brackett. And then Fund. So here P pronounced as silent, PFUND pronounced as Fund series. So this is near IR region. This is exactly in the middle of the IR region. This is called a far IR region. Just like nothing but what you have said, emission spectrum of electromagnetic spectrum. UV, visible, IR, like this. This is the order of arrangement of different radiations with respect to wavelengths order. So this is increasing order of wavelength. The first emission spectrum of hydrogen was studied by or identified by Balmer in visible region. After that, the scientist Lyman has discovered one series in ultraviolet region, and then Fason, Brackett, and Fan discovered three more series in IR region. That is near IR, and far IR. Means at the end of the visual and the starting of the IR region is called as near IR. Ending of this IR region is known as far IR region. So like the total 5 series are discovered. Okay. Then the wavelength and wave numbers of these spectral lines can be calculated by Rydberg equation. Nu bar is equal to 1 by lambda is equal to R into 1 by N1 square minus 1 by N2 square. So this equation is applicable to all spectral lines. What I wrote earlier, 1 by 2 square minus 1 by N square, that is applicable only for Balmer series. Now here, this equation we can apply for all series and all spectral lines. Now see here, what is R here? As usual, R is known as a Rydberg constant. These are the values. What is N1 here? So N1 is nothing but a lower orbit, whereas N2 is equal to higher orbit number. N1 is lower orbit number and N2 is higher orbit number. Right. Now see, in the form of a table, I'll show all this. Right. Series, region, the value of N1 and value of N2. Okay. Right. First, serial number 1. The first one is Lyman series. So Lyman series is obtained in which region? Ultraviolet region. There is in UV region, ultraviolet region. What is N1? See, this Lyman series is obtained whenever electron jumps from any higher orbit to first orbit. N1 is equal to 1. Then what the values of N2 are? 2, 3, 4, and so on infinitive. Now let us see. I want a H gamma line in Lyman series. So when does H gamma line will be obtained in Lyman series? See, what is the first line? 2 to 1, that is H alpha. 3 to 1, H beta. 4 to 1, that is H gamma. So in Lyman series, gamma line will be obtained when electron jumps from 4th orbit to 1st orbit. So when does limiting line of Lyman series is obtained? So the limiting line of Lyman series is obtained whenever an electron jumps from infinitive orbit to 1st orbit. When electron jumps from infinitive orbit to 1st orbit, we can get a limiting line of Lyman series. So this is the first one, Lyman series. Second one, Balmer series. See, Balmer series is observed in a visible region. So Balmer series is observed in visible region where N1 is equal to how much? 2, lower orbit number 2, and higher orbit numbers is 3, 4, 5 and so on up to infinitive. So Balmer series in hydrogen spectrum is obtained when electron jumps from any higher orbit to 2nd orbit. And third one is Fasten series. So this Fasten series is observed in near IR region, or simply you can write IR region also, infrared region. So this Fasten series is obtained when electron jumps from any higher orbit to third orbit, 4, 5, 6 and so on. This is N2 values. So Fasten series is obtained whenever electron jumps from any higher orbit to third orbit. And then fourth one, bracket series. So this bracket series is obtained in a IR region, exactly the middle of the IR region, infrared region. And this is obtained whenever electron jumps from any higher orbit to fourth orbit, 5, 6, 7 and so on infinitive. Okay, next, the fifth one is fun series. This is obtained in a far IR region. So fun series is obtained in far IR region, and this is obtained when electron jumps from any higher orbit to fifth orbit, 6, 7, 8 and so on. This is regarding the complete emission spectrum of hydrogen. So the emission spectrum of hydrogen means by taking hydrogen gas in a discharge tube, and what the light emitted from hydrogen gas is analyzed by passing through a prism, then we can obtain 5 series like this: Lyman, Balmer, Fasten, bracket and Fun. But out of these 5 series, only Balmer series is visible to our eyes. Remaining all 4 are not visible to our eyes, because our eyes are sensitive to the wavelength ranging from 400 to 760 nanometers only. Okay, so this Lyman, Fasten, bracket and Fun series, these are not visible to our eyes, but they can be studied by using spectroscopic techniques. By using spectroscopy, we can analyze these spectral lines. Okay, right. Now, what are the series and how these are obtained? See, in a Lyman series is obtained in ultraviolet region whenever electron jumps from any higher orbit to first orbit. Balmer series is obtained whenever electron jumps from any higher orbit to second orbit. Fasten series is obtained whenever electron jumps from any higher orbit to third orbit. This is in near IR region. Bracket series is obtained when electron jumps from any higher orbit to fourth orbit, that is in IR region. Fun series is obtained when electron jumps from any higher orbit to fifth orbit, that is in far IR region. Now let's see one example I'll take. So now I want to find a H beta line in bracket series. When does H beta line in bracket series is obtained? So bracket series means lower orbit should be 4. Then what is higher orbit number? 5 to 4 H alpha, 6 to 4 H beta. So H beta line in bracket series is obtained when electron jumps from 6th orbit to 4th orbit. When does limiting line of Fasten series is obtained? A limiting line of Fasten series is obtained when electron jumps from infinitive orbit to third orbit. See, the wavelengths and wave numbers of these spectral lines can be calculated by using this equation. There is a nu bar is equal to 1 by lambda is equal to r into 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. Actually, this equation is derived from Bohr's theory. After Bohr has proposed the structure of atom, based on the Bohr's theory, this equation was derived by the scientist Rydberg. That's why R is known as Rydberg constant. Okay, right. So this is about emission spectrum of hydrogen, means the simplest known emission spectrum. because hydrogen contains only one atom. So there is the atom which contains a least number of electrons, means only one electron. So this is the simplest spectrum of all known elements. In case of the spectrum of other elements having more than one electron, the spectrums are somewhat complicated. They are studied by using spectroscopy. Okay. Now let us see. So the limitations of Rutherford atomic model we discussed. What are those? It cannot explain electronic structure of atom. It cannot explain the stability of the atom. It cannot explain emission spectrum of hydrogen. Okay. To explain this, scientists have studied the nature of the electromagnetic radiations. What is electromagnetic radiation? What is the nature of electromagnetic radiation? Black body radiation, photoelectric effect, emission spectrum of hydrogen. So about all these scientists have studied, means the nature of electromagnetic radiation was studied. From that we will come to know that electromagnetic radiations are having both wave nature as well as particle nature. Okay. Now based on all these the scientist Niels Bohr proposed one atomic model. Simply Bohr's theory or Bohr's atomic theory or Bohr's atomic model. Okay, right. And based on this, he has proposed some postulates. Let us see what are the important postulates of this Bohr's theory. This is a very important question for PU's examination. Almost every year they are asking what are the important postulates of Bohr's theory or Bohr's atomic theory. Okay. Let us see the first one here. The first one is electrons are revolving. Electrons are revolving around the nucleus. In closed circular paths. Closed circular paths called orbits. So by this, the one of the drawback of Rutherford theory was explained over. So what is Rutherford theory? Electrons are revolving in circular paths. While electron is revolving in circular path, it loses energy and spontaneously falls into the nucleus within a fraction of seconds. But this is not happening here. To overcome this, what Bohr has proposed? Bohr proposed that electrons are revolving around the nucleus in closed circular path. So closed circular path means starting point and ending point will be same. The electron will not move towards the nucleus. So one of the drawback of this Rutherford theory was explained here itself. Electrons are revolving around the nucleus in closed circular paths called orbit. Second one, every orbit is associated. Every orbit is associated with a certain amount of energy. Every orbit is associated with an amount of energy. Right. These are named as 1, 2, 3 and so on. Otherwise K, L, M, N and so on. That means the orbits, what are the closed circular paths are there. So these are named like this. This is nucleus. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are numbered as 1, 2, 3, 4. Otherwise K, L, M and N. So every orbit is associated with a certain amount of energy. And these energy levels are named as 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Otherwise K, L, M, N and so on. This is the second postulate. Third one. As long as electron revolving in an orbit, it neither lose nor gain energy. So whenever an electron is revolving in a closed circular path, as long as electron is revolving in a closed circular path, it neither lose energy nor gain energy. That means energy of orbit or energy of the electron in the orbit remains constant. Hence, these are called as stationary orbits. So as long as electron is revolving in an orbit, it neither lose energy nor gain energy. Hence, these are known as these are known as stationary orbits. These are known as stationary orbits, or they are also called as stationary shells. So as long as an electron is revolving in an orbit, it neither lose energy nor gain energy. Hence, these are known as stationary orbits or stationary shells. This is the third major postulate. Next. So when an electron is, when a particle is revolving in a circular path, it possesses some angular momentum, which is nothing but mvr. When a particle is revolving in a circular path, it possesses some angular momentum, and Bohr proposed that the angular momentum of revolving electron is equal to integral multiple of h by 2 pi. Angular momentum of revolving electron is equal to integral multiple of h by 2 pi. Means nothing but mvr is equal to nh by 2 pi. This is equation. The revolving electron possesses some angular momentum. The angular momentum of the revolving electron is equal to integral multiple of h by 2 pi. mvr is equal to nh by 2 pi. Now let us see what is mvr and all this. Here m is nothing but mass of electron. V is the velocity of the electron. R is the radius of the orbit. N is nothing but orbit number 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on, where h is Planck's constant. So once m is mass of electron, v is velocity of electron, r is radius of the orbit, n is nothing but orbit number, h is Planck's constant. That means angular momentum is a integral multiple of, means n times of h by 2 pi. mvr is equal to nh by 2 pi. Means for the revolving electron, angular momentum is a minimum of h by 2 pi. H by 2 pi or integral multiples of h by 2 pi, it will be there. Okay, and one more. Just solve briefly here. When an electron jumps from lower orbit to higher orbit, energy is absorbed. Similarly, when an electron jumps from a higher orbit to lower orbit, energy is emitted. The emitted or absorbed energy is given by delta E. I am not writing the postulate, just directly equation I am writing here. The postulate is when electron jumps from lower orbit to higher orbit, energy is absorbed. Similarly, when electron jumps from higher orbit to lower orbit, energy is emitted. The emitted or absorbed energy is given by delta E, which is equal to E2 minus E1. What is E2 here? E2 is energy of higher orbit. Energy of higher orbit. What is E1? So E1 is nothing but the energy of lower orbit. So either emitted or absorbed, whatever it may be, is nothing but higher orbit energy minus lower orbit energy. See, as the orbit number increases here, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on, as orbit number increases, energy associated with that orbit also increases. So whenever an electron absorbs some energy, it jumps from lower orbit to higher orbit. Then we can get absorption spectrum. When an electron jumps from higher orbit to lower orbit, energy is emitted. Then we can get emission spectrum. Either emitted energy or absorbed energy, both are given by the relation delta E is equal to E2 minus E1. So these are the major postulates of this Bohr's atomic theory. Let us see once. As per this theory, electrons are revolving around the nucleus in closed circular paths called as orbits, or these are also called as shells. Either orbits or shells, either you can write here. Orbits are, these are also called as shells. Both mean same. Okay. Next, every orbit is associated with a certain amount of energy, which are known as energy levels. And these are represented by the letter K, L, M, N and so on. Otherwise, we use the letter numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. This is second one. Third one. As long as an electron is revolving in an orbit, it neither lose energy nor gain energy. That means energy of electron or energy of orbit remains constant. Hence, these are called as stationary orbits, means constant energy. Stationary orbits are stationary shells because their energy remains constant. Next, the revolving electron possesses some angular momentum. The angular momentum of the revolving electron MVR is equal to integral multiple of h by 2 pi, means n times, where n is orbit number 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Next, last one. When electron jumps from lower orbit to higher orbit, energy is absorbed. When electron jumps from higher orbit to lower orbit, energy is emitted.